Hello, my name is Samar. I also go by Sam or First Time Panner. Any of those you want to call me, you can. This will be another palette throwback, and this is a series where I'll also link, I'm already messing up. I'll also link the like introduction and the playlist in the description box and at the end of the video, so that you can kind of recap on this or just hear me explain this series. But long story short, in addition to my 2 Looks 1 palette, which is showcasing like my favorite palettes in my collection that are not currently in a project, my palette throwback is of course showcasing all of the oldest palettes in my collection, which is like from around mid 2021 to mid 2022. That was like the first year when I started buying eyeshadow. So all of these palettes are my oldest palettes in my collection, and I just want to get all the ones that aren't already in projects. Again, I just want to get as much use on them as I can. And this time, it's a little late. I try to do this once a month, so I missed March, but this time it is my Lorac Fairytale Forest palette. I absolutely love this palette. This is one of the palettes in my collection with the best memories because I was just using it as a time. I mean, my life has always been turbulent and very chaotic and stressful, but I was using this at a time when I was just having a great time, like being, you know, graduated from college and being able to hang out with my friends. I was unemployed, which was the scary part, but you know, basically every time I was with my friends, I like always had this palette with me, so it just has a lot of good memories. I'm not gonna go too deep into the trauma, and I'm just gonna do one look on my eyes and wear this for the day, so it's not gonna be anything crazy or 2 different looks. But as always, I have not planned out what look I was going to do, but when I was doing my makeup, I noticed that I hadn't reached for this in a long time, which is my 5 4 3 2 1 project. So I kind of have this like hot pink berry lip going on, so I might try to do something with this pink. Is like, it doesn't, as you can see, it doesn't exactly match the lip, but it does. It's like a pink gold duochrome, which other than like I would say like a green brown is probably my favorite type of duochrome, pink and gold. And I am wearing a yellow gold highlighter, so I think I'm gonna try to use that, but I'm just gonna get into it. These videos are usually shorter. I've already done like the rest of my makeup and I'm only doing one look, so these videos are usually shorter, but as always, I have a tendency to ramble, and I've already been filming for 3 minutes. And this is just my Ulta primer. As always, way too much squeezed out because there's always like a clump at the top, and then like you press out the clump and just like a whole bunch squirts out. So that's the one thing I don't like about this primer, but otherwise I feel like it works just as well as the Milani one. I don't know why I'm talking about that. And I was watching Joe's video as I was doing my makeup, and she was saying, I just washed my brushes, and I got really embarrassed because I have not washed my brushes in a very long time. So I didn't do like a full wash, but I did like my daily brush cleaner. So these are clean. But I think because I haven't used this palette since last year, I need to like re-familiarize myself with this. But I think I'm gonna start with probably just like setting my eyeshadow primer using this shade. I cannot remember what these shades are called. Maybe I have I do. Okay, so that shade is called Birch, and I'm just gonna put it all over. Oh, this is like, I was thinking this is gonna be too light for my skin tone, but it's kind of, sorry if you can, I really don't know what they're doing up there. They don't usually make that sound. Maybe they're like snaking their drain, I don't know. This is like an exact match for my skin tone. I thought it was going to be a little lighter. I usually like to set my eyeshadow primer with something that's slightly lighter, but that's the lightest shade, well, the lightest matte in the palette, so whatever. I'm like in between summer and winter shades because these past 2 weekends I went to a few parties for my bosses, and I was in the sun. I actually think, even though this is like previously was my least used matte in this palette, I think I'm gonna take this gray. So I probably should have set my lid with this one because this is like the cool tone gray version of Birch. That shade is called Earth, but I'm gonna take this gray shade, which is called Fog, and just like maybe use this as my transition shade. And not that I'm like trying to promote this palette or anything. That was okay. I'm really glad I set my eyeshadow primer because that was like more pigmented than I remember, and I'm bringing it way too far in. But yeah, I think this palette is still available. I'm really glad I got this. I got it like right when it came out off an Instagram ad. That was the first time I didn't like shop through Instagram, but that was the first thing I ever bought because I saw it on Instagram. And I have absolutely no regrets. I even got it on sale too. I got this for like 22 bucks, I think. Okay. You know what? I'm kind of happy with how that blended. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit more in the outer corner. And then I'm gonna do the other side. I keep like forgetting that I already did the rest of my makeup and I can't clean up with concealer. So I'm like going way too far out. So I'm just like trying to fix any places that I went a little too crazy, but it's kind of wiping off very easily. Like this is, compared to like some other palettes, this is very easily blending. However, I would say like it only builds up in depth to a certain point. It was kind of nearly full opacity on the first swipe, but I'm gonna stop there. Okay, I'm gonna cheat a little bit, and I'm gonna use, instead of putting that on my lower lash line as well, I'm gonna use like this eyeshadow crayon from Tarte, but it's like a pewter, so it's like almost the same color. But I don't like putting, as you know, I don't like putting eyeshadow, powder eyeshadow on my lower lash line because it always gets in my eye. And now I want to sit back, relax, and enjoy my evening, when all of a sudden, okay, no, I'm gonna try to be serious, but I actually can't. Where is it? Oh, I totally forgot. I totally forgot that today's the day I'm using my new tube of my NYX glitter primer because I ran out of my other one. Oh my god, that was so easy compared to how much I've been struggling lately. I'm going to, I did put a little too much because I'm so used to like squeezing so hard lately, but whatever. Now I'm gonna use that like pink gold duochrome on my lids. That is called Butterfly. This one here, it is so pretty. Like there you can kind of see that pink gold flip. I just love the way it looks. It kind of reminds me of that one shade from the Sashimi City eyeshadow palette, because that one is also a pink and gold duochrome, and it has like pretty much the exact same flip, except for that one is slightly chunkier. This one is like a very thin dry formula. Oh my god, that is so pretty. I love the way it looks on top of that gray. I'm kind of glad I did that. This is so beautiful. Wow, I'm speechless. And then I do want to do an inner corner. I think I'm gonna start with this shade right here, which is called North Star, and just this is also like a dry topper shade. I'm gonna put it just right here. I think I put more than I was expecting, but oh well. And then that is really so pretty on its own. I don't know why it's like so dark and gloomy in here, because outside, like I know I have all my blinds closed, but usually like if I'm filming in the morning, it still looks pretty bright, and like outside it's bright out, so I don't know why it's so gloomy in here. But I'm gonna put like a tiny bit of that butterfly shade just on top of that. Oh, that was the wrong shade. On as like, so that it's the shade, I can't talk, that the shade is still on my inner corner, like continuing from my lid, but it's like brightened from that North Star shade. And then I'm gonna cheat again. I'm gonna put this like e.l.f. eyeshadow stick that's like, oh my god, I forgot this thing like popped out, so I went to like, But anyway, it just basically is like an icy pewter, I don't know, but I just put that on the inner part of my lower lash line, and that is the look done. So I'm gonna add some eyeliner and mascara and then be right back. All right, I'm back. I decided to actually not do eyeliner and just do mascara, but then I did why is there like a shadow right here? It doesn't look like that in real life. But yeah, I also changed my lip color to, it's like actually another grayish, but because that like pink chubby stick stained my lips, it looks more purple. But I did want to kind of like just take this earth shade actually and just like dab lightly and use it to like buff out the edges of my eyeshadow, just because I don't really care about my blending too much, but I feel like it makes it look slightly more polished when I do this. And since I'm going for the ethereal look, I want everything to be like blended out and like diffused very nicely. So yeah, that is the finished look with the Lorac Fairytale Forest palette. Yeah, I absolutely love this palette so much, and I'm really like, I feel like every single time I use a different shade, I'm like, oh my god, that shade is my favorite shade in the palette. Know that one. So like, I just feel like I really can't go wrong with this. Initially when I first got it, I thought, oh well, there aren't too many mattes, but now that I am more of, sorry, I keep having to restart because I like, my fingers are cracking or I'm like stumbling over my words. Now that I am more into like shimmers and special shades, I think this palette is like darn near perfect. So I'm very, very happy that I have this. Not saying you need to go out and buy it, but if you were interested, I think this is still available and I do highly recommend it. If like this is the type of palette or like color story that you're going for, I think the formula isn't Pat McGrath level formula for me, but it is very good. Like, there isn't really a dud shade in this palette at all. So that's it. I will see you in my next video, and until then, I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.